finding it a bit difficult to get to the plot at the moment. Due to medical reasons, I'm not able to drive for 4 weeks. I'm only getting towards the halfway mark of the 4-week stint. So far, we've only managed one visit to the plot thanks to a kind plot neighbour giving us a lift to the plot and back home with his car boot full of our produce. It had been almost 2 weeks since we'd made our last visit. Our plots didn't look too untidy, which was a bit of a pleasant surprise. Of course, some things never change, and the first thing I did was have a look around the plots to see how they'd managed without us. One crop that didn't survive the gale force winds was our runner beans, which we found very neatly blown over. The climbing French beans in the background with less foliage seemed to have survived the gale force winds. We've a few crown prince squashes that look just about ready, but they need all the late autumn sunshine they can get to ripen the skins so they'll keep well over winter. We also wanted to pick all the sweet pea flowers to prolong the season as long as we could. There were dozens to pick as well as a few seed pods that needed to be removed. It was definitely a 2-person job. The flowers went into buckets of water to keep them as fresh as possible until they were ready for a journey home. The sweet pea supports had stood up well to the strong winds. Our Clapton cauliflowers hadn't done too well over the last few weeks, and they'd been devastated by caterpillars which had left their crass all over the plants. I managed to find one that didn't look too bad. This one even had some green leaves left intact. Our outdoor tomato plants have avoided any blight, which normally finishes off our crop before we get any ripe tomatoes. Unusually this year, they've survived, and we've plenty of ripe tomatoes to pick. I think some pasta sauce will be the order of the day. We quickly picked a punnet of lovely Loch Ness blackberries. The leaves are now beginning to take on their brilliant autumn colours. The berries are good too. Some flowers in Sue's early flower patch are producing a late display. We might have cleared these away to the compost heap a few weeks ago, but never got round to it. I'm not sure if our invincible pears are ready to eat, but as some had fallen to the ground and were being eaten, there didn't seem to be much time to lose. I think they'll need storing somewhere for a couple of weeks for them to ripen. We've plenty of apples that still need to be harvested. A good number of our beds are now cleared of their summer crops and will be left over winter. This cut flower bed by the compost heap still looking pretty decent. Our lavender plants have been flowering since early summer. They were in this bed as a temporary arrangement. They've done so well, we're now thinking of keeping them in this bed permanently. These late flowers might produce some cutting material, but I don't think the onward peas growing next to them are going to manage to produce any pods before we get any frosts. Our sweet corn crop's been the most surprising one of the year. A few weeks after planting out, it looked as though it had been killed off by the weather. It recovered remarkably, and we've harvested 45 decent-sized cobs from the plants. We didn't pick any of our Meacher's prolific quinces. There's still a little bit of furbiness to the skins, so I think they'll benefit from a little longer left on the tree. As you can hear, at this point it started to rain, just like it's done most days this month, so harvesting had to come to an end. We couldn't complain though, as we'd managed a decent harvest which just fitted into the boot of Jan's car for the journey home. Once we got back home, we arranged our harvest under the carport in the dry so we could take some video and pictures of what we'd managed to harvest through the afternoon.